In this class, I'll be teaching you how to draft a basic bodice. First thing, draw a margin. On the top side of the paper, then you label it top line. The next thing is for you to also do another margin on the left side of your paper. Now, once you've done this, measure the basic length of the draft, which is 75 cm. Once you've done the 75 cm basic length of the draft, all you need to do again is to determine the width of the bodice block. And to do that, you have to check which is bigger out of the bust and the hips. In most cases, the hip is always the biggest. For this draft, we have hips 109, and half of hips 109 is going to give us 54.5 cm plus 3 cm, that's going to give us 57.5 cm. You take the measurement from the margin on the left side. The bodice is drafted using the metric system of measurement, which is in cm. So we have 57.5 cm. You mark it and square it all through to the basic length. Once you square the width of the drafts, automatically it gives you the center front and the center back. Once you've gotten the width of this draft, which is 57.5 cm, you label the one on your left center back line, while the one to your right is labeled center front. Next thing for us to do is to draw all the necessary lines that will help us to do the drafting properly. First thing, from the top line, measure 3 cm from the top line, label it point O. Measure 3 cm. The point O for this particular ball size is 3 cm. So measure 3 cm from the top line, label it point O. All other measurements start from the point O. From point O, measure 3 cm, label it shoulder line. The 3 cm is constant for all sizes. This line represents the shoulder line. From point O, measure the depth of arm O. The depth of arm O for this draft is 22 cm. Once you measure the depth of arm O, it represents the bust line, 22 cm. From point O, measure the depth of arm O, 22 cm, then square it across. To square across, have the understanding that we measured the depth of arm O for point O on the back line. And if we are squaring it across, that means we have to reference the 3 cm away from the top line, which makes it a total of 25 cm. From point O, measure your depth of armhole, which you've done here. The next thing to measure from point O is to measure the length to waist measurement. The length to waist for this draft is 41 cm. From point O, measure your length to waist, then square it across. Don't forget to square across at the same time. You have to reference the 3 cm away from the top line. This is because the point O started 3 cm below the top line. So this is going to give us 44 cm from top line. Doing this will ensure that you have a perfect straight line. 44 cm. Your length to waist defines the waistline for the draft. To get your hip line, measure 22 cm below the waistline. The waist to hip is always between 22 to 25 cm. For this draft, we're measuring 22 cm down. This represents the waist, the hip line. Now, the next thing for us to grab here is to get the back line on the back drafts. To do that, to get your back line, measure out the distance between point O and the bust line will give you the back line. Now we have 22 cm here. Midpoint between this distance is 11 cm. That's going to represent as your back line. This line is a point where you take the measurement of the back width. Now we're done with these lines, and these are the first thing you have to highlight while drafting the basic block. Now we can start the drafting proper using the measurements we already had. First thing, on point O, measure your back neck width. The back neck width for bust 96.5 cm is 7 cm. On point O, measure the back neck width, dot it, and from that point go up 2 cm. Label it neck point, that is NP. Come to the back line. On the back line, measure half of the back width. The back width is 38.5 cm. Half of that back width is 19.25. Place your tape measure on the back line, measure 19.25, square it up to the shoulder line and down to the bust line. On the shoulder line, measure 2 cm out. Now connect with the straight ruler from MP to the 2 cm out and label it SP. SP. that is shoulder point. Next thing to do, come to the bust line from where half of the back width, which is 19.25, where half of the back width touches the bust line, add up your back UP. The back UP is called the back underarm point, and that is made available in the proportion table. The back UP for this draft is 5.5 cm. From this point, measure 5.5 cm. Once that is done, come to the hip line. On the hip line, measure quarter of the hips. The quarter of the hips here is 27.25. Now connect the back UP, which is this point, to quarter of the hips with a straight ruler. Once this is done, the next thing for us to now do is to create some guideline along this armhole. From the back line along the armhole, measure 3 cm down. On the back line along the armhole, measure 3 cm down. Measure another 3 cm at angle 45 degree. This angle is called angle 45 degree. Place your ruler at angle 45 degree. I have this. Three cm at angle 45 degree. Next thing to do now is to get the dart placement point for the back pattern. To do that, divide your back width by 4. Back width divided by 4 will give you the dart placement point on the waistline of the back. Our back width is 38.5. Divided by 4, that's going to give us 9.625. Place your tape measure on the center back line on the waist and measure 9.625. I have it here. Square that same measurement upward and downward. Now, once you have that, square up and down. While squaring up and down, measure a dart length of 28 cm. That is 13 cm upward, 15 cm downward. 15 cm downward, then 13 cm upward. Now we have this specifically. Next thing to do, from the bust line, measure 4 cm on the side line to get the true bust line of the back. Measure 4 cm down. From the underarm point, 4 cm down. While on the center back bust line, measure 2 cm. Connect it with a straight ruler. This will give you a slanted line that represents the true bust line of the back. Once this is done, we can connect the armhole before we come So now once you've done this, let's try and connect the neckline. Place your ruler on NP touching the point O line. You have your neckline drawn. For us to connect the armhole, place your armhole curve on XP touching the back line. Once that is done, place your hammer curve on the 3 cm down, touching the 3 cm at angle 45 degree, then touching the underhand point. So you have that properly connected. The next thing for us to do is to come to the side waistline and measure in 2 cm for basic waist shaping. The 2 cm will be done on all basic drafts. Measure 2 cm in on the waistline from the side and label here waist point. Now place your ruler this way. Ensure the ruler is touching your true bust line and touching the 2 cm inward on the waist. Flip the ruler to the other side and connect as well. Afterwards, our basic dart intake for the back is total of 2 cm, which means you have to share the dart on both sides. We have 1 cm, 1 cm. Now you can connect the dart. To finish up with the back pattern, we need to do the basic center back shaping. This is necessary on all basic draft as well. On the center back line, along the waist, go in 2 cm. Once that is done, take your ruler and connect from the back line to the 2 cm inward on the waistline. And place the ruler again on the 2 cm on the waistline to the hip line as well on the center back line. Now with this, we are able to finish up the back part of the basic bodice draft.